Majestic ice, a huge closed ice cover, or so it seems. But the Northern Hemisphere ice cover is melting at a dramatic rate. Huge cracks and gaps, now the size of the UK, can be seen at the North Pole and in Greenland. Polar bears swim up to 100 kilometers, and all they find is the remains of an ice floe. They come to a miserable end. The response by politicians, a little bit of Knut and a lot of hot air. The ongoing increase in road traffic is poisoning the world. The greenhouse effect and global warming are threatening the Earth. This is also due to diesel vehicles, which have been underestimated for a long time. The latest studies have proven the dramatic effect caused by diesel soot. Soot from vehicles, construction machines, train engines and ships, from tractors, cranes and factories escapes unfiltered into the air. This means that even the most attractive boating trip ends up in dirtying the environment. Both the German and international car industry, along with seasoned environmental politicians, are playing down the dangerous effects of diesel soot.
Yeah, we're not so lucky in the weather.
No, but will be improved. Tomorrow will be great, but unlucky you're not here.
Yeah.
A meeting of environmental pundits in Berlin. Dr. James Hansen, a leading US climate researcher and head of the NASA Goddard Institute for Space Studies, and Dr. Axel Friedrich, a globally popular traffic expert, on their way to a press conference where various environmental associations are to launch the Soot-Free for the Climate campaign. Dr. Hansen, who also made a scientific contribution to Al Gore's film An Inconvenient Truth, warns of the dangers of diesel soot.
It's particularly important to try to take actions to minimize the warming effect in the Arctic region, because that in turn will affect climate throughout the Northern Hemisphere. So we're at a situation now where we're in danger of losing all the Arctic sea ice, which could have many repercussions. It is important to cut off or reduce all of the sources, but Europe has historically been the major source of the air pollution over the Arctic. Tipping points, a situation where positive amplifying feedbacks cause rapid change, that's what we call a nonlinear problem. So it's inherently very difficult to say exactly when this rapid changes will occur, but we're beginning to see it happen in the Arctic. So now most scientists say that within the next few decades we will lose all of the ice, and possibly even sooner, unless we reduce the forcing factors that are causing that to happen.
A simple experiment highlights the dramatic nature of melting ice and global warming. 2 small greenhouses are first filled with soil and then with ice. One ice surface is covered with soot from a hose connected to a non-filtered diesel vehicle. The other surface remains untreated. This is designed to simulate the following situation. It is the soot particles emitted in Europe in particular which are carried by the wind to the sensitive Arctic region, where the particles are deposited on the surface of the ice and act like a cover heated by the sun. The deposits of soot on the snow, dramatically visible in the experiment, graphically depict the effect. The experiment clearly shows that the heat of the sun causes the dark ice to melt much faster.
For climate protection reasons, Deutsche Umwelthilfe is demanding that all soot from diesel combustion be filtered from diesel engines, so that by 2020, all of the world's diesel engines, especially in Europe, will run without particle emissions.
A second experiment, Once the ice has melted, the dark soil becomes visible, seen here in the right greenhouse. At the beginning, the temperature is the same on both sides. This then leads to the following situation. The dark soil absorbs the sunlight, and this leads to a much more rapid increase in air temperature. In other words, our climate. If, as experts fear, the ice melts completely or only by half over the next few decades, sea levels will rise by 6 to 8 meters. This would wipe Beijing, Shanghai, Calcutta, or the Netherlands off the map. This would also mean a direct threat to us Europeans as well.
The closer we get to the glaciers and the ice, the greater the impact. From a global perspective, we are relatively close to the Arctic. Europe has a high share of diesel vehicles and hence a strong impact on the harm caused by black carbon in the Arctic. That's why it is necessary to address this topic here and to begin climate protection here. We will benefit from this. Of course, this affects the people living near the Arctic and the polar bears, but above all, it affects us, because when the ice melts, the temperatures in the Arctic will change, and this will have repercussions for our climate here. 2/3 of the soot emissions that reach the Arctic come from Europe. A large part of this is from Germany because we are the biggest country with the strongest economy, but we also have the technological means to remedy the situation.
Diesel soot particles cause serious heart and circulation disorders and are also carcinogenic. Despite stricter emission regulations, significantly higher levels were found in the air. This was reason enough for leading environmental organizations in Germany to revive a campaign that had already been carried out in 2002.
Die Deutsche Umwelthilfe koordiniert seit dem Jahr 2002 bereits die Kampagne Kein Diesel ohne Filter.
Since 2002, Deutsche Umwelthilfe has been coordinating the No Diesel Without Filters campaign, insisting up to now that diesel soot prematurely claims the lives of 70,000 people every year in Germany. However, the latest scientific findings, especially those of NASA, now show that there is another negative impact, that diesel soot has a relatively harmful effect on climate. That's why this year we decided to relaunch the campaign together with our partners and to expand it to include all diesel engines rather than limiting it to cars and buses only.
Auf PKWs und Busse zu beschränken.